Same thing. Pumped her with loads of drugs. She used to have a cabinet next to the bed is like Boots. She's got loads of stuff, right? For all sorts of stuff. And, I mean, she's not that old, but she's on loads of stuff, right?
She's a bit coked up, is she, Smack?
She called up my mum once. And,
yeah, you told us this. Go on, tell it again.
And, she said, oh, how are you doing? And that. Auntie Nora, same thing. Pumped her with loads of drugs. She used to have a cabinet next to the bed is like Boots. She's got loads of stuff, right? For all sorts of stuff. And, I mean, she's not that old, but she's on loads of stuff, right?
She's a bit coked up, is she, Smack?
She called up my mum once. And,
yeah, you told us this. Go on, tell it again.
And, she said, oh, how are you doing? And that. She's alright. Bit worried, though. My mum said, wow, what's up? She said, I've, been breaking wind. So she goes, well, you know. She says, no, but this one is going on and on and on. And she was like, she was like, what do you say? What's, like passing wind, farting, for 5 minutes. one thing. Not like, you know, trumping and then nothing. Yeah. Continuous.
Continuous drone of a fart.
Yeah.
I don't think she had, how big was she? She must have been the size of a barn.
No, she's not that big. She's, you know, she's good for her age.
No,
Quite
but I mean,
quite slim.
No,
It's
but
just-
fighting for 5 minutes. Where's all the was she circular breathing? Was she sucking it in with her mouth?
It was just, I don't know that much about it. But she called up my mum. About 2.5 minutes in.
Could you hear it in the background?
2.5 minutes in!
2.5 minutes in, she called my mum up, and it went on for a further 2.5 minutes.
Oh. And she just stayed on the phone, did she?
Where
On the
was-
phone, going,
well-
can you hear that?
Well,
Yeah. Did she hold the phone next to her arse? Listen to that.
She was off the
I'm
ground.
trying to work a tune down.
she was actually hovering. She was 4 foot off the ground when they found her, the ambulance men.
The cat's dead.
Don't light a match! Don't light that cigarette!
Yeah, it's like that advert. The kids come home from school, switch on the lights.
Yeah! There they see Granny hovering, turn the light on.
Be careful if you have an elderly woman at home.
Yeah. Drugs make you fart.
Alright, we'll play it a few times.
Just remember, as many as you can get, because the winner would probably be, you know, who gets 5 or something. So don't worry if there's a couple you can't get, because you could still probably win.
Here we go again.
Can I just, what's the email address?
It's, well, if they go to xfm.co.uk/Ricky, they can just send them through there and that.
Send them through that way.
Right.
Which of these is the prize bag?
Yeah, don't be getting them mixed up.
That's the one, is it, Carl? Yeah. Alright, so let's see what hot treats you could win. As I get them out, Carl, do you want to play it once more?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I know about valances, as I told you last week, at the very end, me auntie loves them.
Yeah.
Right? She makes them. She started off just like putting them on top of the, sort of window around the curtain. And then she thought, oh, I can do more with this. Yeah. And she had a little coffee table that had magazines underneath, and she said, I'm sick of seeing them magazines when I'm sat down.
She sounds like a Pilkington.
So,
I'm sick of seeing them magazines when I sit down!
so she put a valance round the table.
Yeah!
She just got balances around everything now.
Yeah. Then, next step, she tapes everything. She never actually watches telly, she tapes it all. Because she gets sick of listening to the adverts and that. Yeah. So she tapes everything, so she's got loads of videotapes and that. And the video used to get on her nerves. When she was watching a film, she'd see the clock changing. Oh. And it distracted her from the film, so she put a valance round that.
That's genius!
Yeah.
So,
that is really...
or is it mental?
Only
Mrs. Einstein can tell
I
us.
don't know. She's even made her little, Jack Russell look like a hovercraft.
Yeah.
It's great.
So everything's got a valance.
If you go round and you stand still for too long, the chances are you'll put a valance around your head.
Yeah. This is this is Auntie who?
Auntie Nora.
And this is the one that farted for 5 minutes. Lest our listeners forget.
Lest we
farted
forget.
for 5 minutes, called his mum, saying I'm farting. 2 minutes into the fart.
She said about 2.5 minutes in.
Yeah.
You said I'm about 2.5 minutes into
Well,
the
my
pod.
mum said, how long's it been going on for? She said, well, it was about 2.5 minutes before I called you.
Yeah.
And then it went on for a further 2.5 minutes or something. And, then it stopped. And,
She couldn't time it because there was a balance over the clock.
Yeah, she
Because it used to
couldn't
annoy
time
her
it,
when she was
yeah.
on the phone and you put her off the
So
time.
it was
She was guessing it was 5 minutes.
This was one consistent fart.
yeah. I mean, it wasn't making a noise, it was just...
Oh, it wasn't making a noise.
Just gas.
Right, endless gas.
So, there you
That's
go.
fantastic.
Play the clips again.
Play the clips again, I really want to win it now.
Here we go.
I can't believe this hasn't been done before.
It's extraordinary.
Alright.
Because most of our ideas have.
The emails, I should point out, aren't flooding in on the
No, but it
competition.
always takes time when they go through the website.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, they'll be arriving in a bit.
Do you want to play it once more for those that have just joined us?
Alright then. It's a phrase that has cropped up on the show a few times. This week, we were going back to the classic "Me Auntie Had Wind" for 5 minutes.
Back to the classic.
And let's have a
These are the
have a
answers, is
listen.
it? Okay.
Right. So what you had there is you had the knack
Yeah.
with my Sharona.
Uh-huh.
Auntie was some Manson track.
What? You don't even know what it was.
Auntie Everything, I think it's called, some album track, right? Then you had Bill Medley, Jennifer Warnes, I've Had the Time of My
Yeah.
Life. You had Bob Dylan,
Wind.
Wind.
Idiot wind.
Blowing in the Wind.
Oh, Blowing in the Wind, was it?
What was after that? 4. 4 was, 2468
4 was Bob Dylan.
Motorway. 2468 Motorway.
Yeah.
Tom Robinson.
Tom
Yeah.
Robinson, yeah. That was the 4. Then you had the 5 from Manfred Man, 5,
Yeah.
4, 3, 2, 1. We wrapped it up with a bit of 5-star
Yeah.
for Minute, something about,
Can't wait.
yeah, can't wait another
Can't
minute.
wait another minute.
So, they're the answers.
I'm so
Well, it's like, right, listen, when I was a kid, right, and it's alright for you to go into women's toilets when you're a kid, it's like, oh, it's a bit cute,
Yeah.
right, as long as you're not, like, over 15 or something, right?
Right.
But when I was a kid, I went into a toilet, and women, when they use their little cubicles, they don't shut the door. Some of them just sit down on the toilet,
Yeah.
right, and you see everything. And, no, seriously, that's probably one of the first times I saw, like, a woman.
Yeah.
That, right, and my Auntie Nora when she was staying over.
What happened with your Auntie Nora?
She was, she's into wearing caftans.
Into wearing what?
You know, caftans.
Oh, yeah.
What caftans?
Big, bellowy sort of dresses.
Right.
And, yeah, I used to sit on the floor at home in front of the telly.
Sure.
She was on the chair behind.
Yeah.
She did a bit of a, sort of a Sharon Stone scene.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
There was no underwear.
No.
What age were you?
What was it like?
What age were
It
you?
was like a ripped tennis ball. Because I read it and kind of started having sort of memories of Auntie Nora again.
Yeah.
Because she used to always, like,
Now, Auntie Nora is the woman
Who farted for 5 minutes.
she had wind for 5 minutes.
Sure.
Yeah.
But she also, she used to say, oh, Carl, rub me back. Right. And, with her being quite old, it was all sort of mouldy and warty.
It was mouldy.
No,
Mouldy.
sort of
Oh, mouldy. Right.
And what did you do?
I didn't like it. I hated it, in
It
fact.
was like reading a braille book.
Yeah.
It was like putting your hand in a load of Cocoa Pops.
Oh, dear.
All really big brown things. And I just thought framing hers would be sort of 3D-ish.
Right. Yeah. What's that, a chunk of the moon? No.
Yeah. Did you Artex that wall?
Yeah.
That's
That's Auntie Nora.
That's Auntie Nora's back. Oh, God.
Any piece of your body, Carl, that you'd like to leave behind? for
That's
posterity?
disgusting. Putting your hand into them. Is she the one with the split tennis ball when she wasn't wearing
Shut
knickers?
up.
That's the
What?
one.
No, let's not discuss the tennis ball.
Okay.
So she used to get you to sort of knead her dough on her back.
God, this is really bad.
But like,
don't.
what would she with her dress or whatever? Or
She wore those sort of squid-looking things that
Sorry, what?
what? Those squid looking.
That's Auntie Nora covered in octopuses. What are you talking about? What do you mean she wore?
It's like a nightgown type thing,
But
but
what's squid got to do with it?
because they sort of look like a squid around the edge.
Oh, I know, frilly things. Yeah.
And she just say, I'm aching there. Oh. She was never well. She was never. Do you know what I mean? She's always had something wrong with her. I don't ask her how she is. It's just like you know she's not going to be all right.
Did she have wind when you were sort of neat? It must have been like playing an accordion.
Yeah, get a little tune going.
Wow. Oh, who's your auntie with the tattoos?
That's Hazel.
Oh right, yeah.
Let's leave that.
Why?
Oh, let's
Why?
not talk about
Well, leave it. What have I come across there?
What's up with Auntie Hazel?
What's up with Auntie Hazel?
There's nothing wrong with her. It's just
What?
just a lesbian, which is nothing wrong with that.
Well, no, but you've made it sound like there is now by not wanting to say it. My aunt is a lesbian.
I know what you're saying, though. I know what you're getting at. Just because I call her Uncle Hazel.
Play a record. Is any of your family left in Manchester? Because they all moved away, didn't they? You came here. Your dad's moved to Wales, for Christ's sake. Well, your family are all around the... Brother joined the army to get anywhere. Just take me anywhere.
We don't know where he is.
His sister's moved away, so no
Ireland,
one... Yeah, there you go, you see? So, that's just one family. That's one family who love Manchester.
Exactly.
Alright?
Tell you what, Steve.
Go on.
I did find out in the week.
Yeah.
World record, right? Person with the longest trump.
With the longest what?
Wind. Fart.
Right.
Right? 2 minutes 42 is the world record.
Okay.
Right?
Well, I'm immediately thinking about a relative of yours who I'm sure did longer than
Who
that.
still lives in Manchester.
Auntie Nora.
Now, Auntie Nora did it for 5 minutes, wasn't it?
Starfight for 5 minutes. But, unfortunately, she was the only person in the room. Whereas I think, which one's alive, Ross or Norris McWhirter?
I don't know, actually.
He has to be there.
Yeah, I think he actually has to
He'd
be
have
present.
to be there.
Would you want to be there?
Well, he'd have sort of equipment, and looking at his watch, going, finish? He goes, yeah. He goes, well, that was 4 minutes,
Did she
59
go from like a
seconds.
size 10 to a size 6? Did
she
show some old dresses?
like a hovercraft.
Exactly.
In a big dress.
Yeah,
Just slightly off. Yeah. So, it has to be invigilated.
But again, you know, how was the Guinness Book of World Records one invigilated? I mean, who was supervising that? Who was
He
monitoring
said,
that?
I can fart for 2 minutes. They went, well, we've got to see this. Went round, and, he just probably let it rip. It's probably circular breathing. He's probably sort of sucking in air and swallowing it as he's going. And it's a continuous one, isn't it? It's not like... Yeah.
I mean, it said, you know, that's how Nora's happened. Me Auntie Nora. She had a little bit of wind. It went on for like 2.5 minutes.
Sure.
That's when she called me Mum.
As it was still going on.
And said, there's something not right here.
I'm leaking.
She said, oh, can you send your dad round? You know, my dad.
Yeah.
Sent to me mum.
With a cork.
And,
with a lighter. I think this would be the best one
I
ever.
want to show the kids something.
he said, I'll be there in a bit, get the windows open. But what it was down to, because I was talking to
Is
my
she
mum
the
and
one
dad
with the
about
split tennis ball?
Yeah.
Can we not talk about that again?
I was talking to my mum and dad about it, saying, you know, why do you think it happened and that? And it's because she never chucks food away, right? And she'll sort of mash it all up. And she's got all these ice cream tubs in the fridge that are just full of,
Cabbage
like,
water.
old, mashed up food.
Really?
And she prepares everything. Right, she doesn't work, she's retired now, she's got nothing to do all day, but everything's got to be ready
Still
for
calls
her.
in sick.
Do you know what I mean? Everything's got to be done. Even though, if you're going round to her house, and you're going there for tea, it's like, what time are you coming? And it's like, well, I don't know, maybe 5, maybe 6.
Yeah, you're late, because you're late when you have to meet us at 5 or 6.
Do you know what I mean? That's
But
what...
so, when you say she mashes up food, she literally takes the remnants of a dinner, could be sort of some...
Anything.
And just smashes it all up into a...
Yeah.
And then what does she do with it?
Put it in the fridge, and she's got in the fridge, it's like January, February, March, she's got all these ice cream boxes that are just full of...
But she doesn't... She reheats it and eats it.
Oh, then she, yeah,
I
puts it in
thought
a
she was
pan.
just keeping it as a
No,
souvenir of each meal she'd had.
No, put it in a pan, warm it up.
Oh,
And that's what it
grotesque.
is, it's just...
A lot of vegetation, is it?
Yeah.
Why does it only happen once, or does she save it up once a year, just let it go?
I don't know. Well, she is mad, she's...
Yeah, she sounds potty.
She doesn't answer the phone anymore in case there's a burglar. Checking if she's in. It's like, well, answer it and then they'll know you are in and they won't come round.
Yeah.
Mental.
Well,
Mental.
they can't be sure then, can they?
What do you mean?
Well, if there's no, I go, well, maybe it's someone just... They are in, but they're hiding, whereas if Auntie Nora goes, it's Auntie Nora. We can she'll be farting. We can sneak in when she does a loud one. Because we'll be aware to tell you, what's stopping it? It's got a valance round it, it's got caught on the cat. One, a phone call from his mum, stressed him a little bit.
Right.
Something he said in the magazine about his auntie. Came back to haunt him.
Auntie Nora?
Auntie Nora, yeah.
Don't name her.
Oh,
She knows who she is.
No. Okay, we won't name her, right? We'll just say it's the one who farted for 5 minutes, and as, he sort of saw a skirt when he was young, and found it like a split tennis
So
ball.
it could be any of me aunties.
So other stressful things.
So anyway, what's the Auntie Nora thing? Sorry, Auntie X.
Auntie X.
What did she, why is she upset?
Well, he mentioned her in Zoo. He did this thing for Zoo magazine, and he mentioned about when he looked up her dress, she had a...
Yeah, by accident, remember?
No, that's not suggesting you were going around looking up your elderly relatives' dresses in case they weren't wearing...
For people who've not heard Karl talk about this in the past, just explain quickly again what we're talking about.
Right.
He didn't want to talk about it at all.
When I was a kid, right, Auntie Nora used to come round, me auntie used to come round.
As if there's any ambiguity now. Yeah.
My auntie used to come round and that, and stay, right? And I'm sat on the floor watching the telly, right? She's sat on the sofa with a caftan on. I turn round, right, and it was there.
It was looking back
at me, right? And we've mentioned this, and Ricky sort of said, what did it look like? And, you know, a split tennis ball came to mind. That's what we talked about, right? So anyway, Zoo magazine, when they did the interview...
And she's the one that used to put a valance on everything, isn't it?
Well, not everything, obviously. So anyway, so I've done this...
So you did interview in Zoo?
Yeah, and like they said, you know, it was like, you know, do you plan stuff and do you worry about stuff when, after you've done the show, you're worried you've upset anyone? And, you know, I was saying, really, I forget people are listening. And, you know, we're just having a chat with mates and that. I said, but now and again, I do worry, when I'm on my way home from the show and that, and I'm thinking about what we've talked about. And I was saying, you know, the Auntie Nora incident.
Yeah. Incident! That's Watergate!
Yeah.
And, anyway, so this was in there, right? And I was saying in the magazine, you know, but I think I got away with it. She doesn't listen to the show, but, you know, and I don't think she reads Zoo magazine, so...
She's more of a nuts woman. Sure, yeah.
So, anyway, so my mum calls up the other week, right? And she goes, wish you wouldn't, you know, talk about Auntie Nora and that. And, I was like, oh, so how do you know about that? She goes, well, one of your cousins have called us up and said they've read the article about it. So yeah, that's why we don't want to talk about it, really.
So he stitched you up.
So do you know what Auntie X has made of this? Do you know if she was upset or not?
Well, she doesn't know about it.
Because, I mean, maybe she's always thought it looked like a split tennis ball. Maybe you're just in sync, you know, because you're relatives and stuff. Maybe she knew instantly. Even if you hadn't named her, she'd have thought, hang on, so I farted for 5 minutes once.
Yeah, that's not really ambiguous,
well
is it?
be me.
If you hear that, like, someone who farted for 5 minutes and's got found like a split tennis ball, you're gonna go, I wonder if he means me.
Yeah.
You're gonna remember
or
that.
Auntie Jackie. It could be Auntie Jackie.
Oh, God.
My man phoned and said that my Auntie Nora, classic Auntie Nora, wanted me to look on the internet to find out what the weather will be like in Spain at the end of November. I don't know where she gets her money from. 2 months ago, she was asking me dad how much it would be to get her back garden astroturfed, because she's sick and tired of the grass getting out of
What
hand.
does she want to do? Start a football team? What does she want a back garden astroturf?
She likes the sort of green look, but she doesn't like the headache that comes with it, so she's just looking into getting that false grass put in there.
Brilliant.
Don't know how much it is.
They always say when you get someone a present, you should buy them something they wouldn't buy themselves. Daft rule. I want something I would buy myself if I had the money. When I was young, me Auntie Nora got me a present I wouldn't buy myself. It was a t-shirt with her face on.
What's happening? What's happening, Aldo? I didn't think I'd see that today. You know, a fella getting poison off a frog. A bit weird, isn't it? And they believe that if they stick it on you, it gives you extra energy to go off and hunt, stuff like that. But it's all about up there, isn't it? You know, I mentioned the Auntie Nora with the amount of drugs she's on. If she was here, she'd be up for that. She'd go, oh, I want to have that. What are you mixing there? Toad and a bit of spit. Oh, I want to try that. If it hasn't been tested on animals, it's been tested on the Auntie Nora.
Listen. Right. As you know, I lent Karl, part of his education is historical education, I lent Karl Gladiator, the movie, on DVD, which he watched on his PlayStation 2, and Rasputin.
Do you know last week when you gave me this, did you know my result for history?
No.
That's weird, isn't it?
Yep. Now, right, okay, it's the film review. Karl, you just tell it from the heart, tell us what you thought about the film, what you thought the...
Can I just ask, is this the first time you'd seen Gladiator? You'd never seen it before?
No.
Okay. And what were your thoughts?
Okay. The film review.
Gladiator.
It's alright. Nothing great. It's like an old, sort of an old version of Rocky done in the olden days, really.
Right.
A bloke fighting other people.
Sure.
How sort of well known is the story? Do you reckon people know the basics?
Well, just very quickly, just do the plot.
Quickly. There's a guy called Max.
Maximus, yeah.
Yeah. There's Caesar, and there's Caesar's kid, and Max goes to war, sort of wins it, comes back. Caesar says, "You're good at what you do. I wish my son was as good as you. So I want you to be in charge when I die." His kid finds out, bit annoyed about it, kills his dad because he don't want anyone to hear that he said that he wants him to be in charge.
Yeah.
So his kid gets in charge and thinks, "I'll show you. You're not going to be a king. I am. You're going to be a slave or something." And then next thing you see is...
Sorry, can I just stop there? My only thought is the film's 3 hours long, so maybe we shouldn't go through the whole plot.
We've done the first 10 minutes, but
Yeah.
go on. So, yeah, he's a slave and then...
Yeah, but then, that was an interesting bit that I thought, right? I mean, I was watching this with a girlfriend. She was already annoyed because she wanted to watch Friends on E4.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. It was a good episode as well this week.
was it?
Yeah.
Don't tell her that.
Okay.
Right, so she was annoyed and she said, "Come on then, put it on." And I got it wrong straight away because it says on the back 149, so I thought that was an hour and 49 minutes. It turned out it was 149. No, I thought it was 1 hour 49.
Yeah.
But it was 149 minutes.
Sure,
So it overran anyway.
by 40 minutes.
Yeah. So anyway, the interesting bit was where he was going across the desert on a horse. And I think to show you how long he'd been going across the desert on his horse, he's showing you a shot of the horse's knees and they were bleeding. And I just wondered whether that's what horses do if they run for a long time. Do you know?
I don't. Good.
Right, so anyway, so it goes on, it keeps going on like this. He's a slave, and then he has a fight at the end with the Caesar's kid, and he kills him. And that's how it ended.
Okay, good. What did you think of it? Just generally, what bits... What do you think was wrong with it?
Right, well, I've read up on it, and there's already a fact that is wrong.
Right.
Caesar's kid, he didn't actually kill his dad. His dad died of a natural death.
Right. In real life, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
And what's Caesar's kid's name? Comedian or something?
I think it's comedian. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where the name comes from. When a funny person is called a comedian. 'cause
He
their name
didn't
happens.
actually get killed in real life by Max.
No.
He died by his sister poisoning him, and he didn't die. No.
Are you saying that this is not a historical document?
It's wrong.
All over the place.
Yeah.
Well,
in
next
terms
week,
of-
next week I'm giving you Braveheart, and that is actually true. That is factually
No,
accurate.
I can't handle
It is.
another
It
one.
was a little
Listen,
Australian fella that helped him out.
Just for people who watched it, they
Go on.
know that the guy, Caesar's kid,
Yeah.
he died. His sister tried to poison him. That didn't work. Apparently, he was a gay fella, and his boyfriend, who was a wrestler, strangled him. That's
Where did you get this information?
on the internet. I thought I'd look it up to see how much of it I actually got right,
Yes.
and that's what I read.
Okay, so out of 10?
5.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's no good. I wouldn't get it out. It's annoying the way it says, like, this film's got to be seen at the cinema, because I saw it at home and I don't think I missed out on anything.
Very good point. I think that's probably the point they're making. But you went to see a film this week, didn't you? What did you see?
The Monsters Inc.
Oh,
Did you
yeah.
have a little argument? What was the argument about? Did you have an argument with your girlfriend or something? Because of
Well, the history thing took over last weekend, to be honest, when you found out my results. That was like the talking topic of most of the weekend. And,
Why? What did she
you know,
say?
you brought it on yourself. You know, why didn't you take it serious? You know.
Was she annoyed or upset?
Well, she just sort of said, "You can learn. Look, you learned Rasputin.
Mm.
You know, if only you did
You've
that."
done
at school."
that. You've done
Do you know what I
Rasputin.
mean? She said, "You can do it if you're told to." She said, "You know, it's only because Ricky's told you to read the book that you're reading it."
Does she think we're sort of like taskmasters?
Does she think we bully you?
Nah, she knows it's just a laugh.
Yeah. What did you tell your parents about your?
Nope.
No. Never.
Because they never even questioned where my results were, so I don't want to tell them that, you know, I didn't get any.
No. What? How did they do it at school?
I didn't have them back then, did they?
Right. When was that, Carl? The Middle Ages.
Middle Ages.
I don't know. Like I say, back then it wasn't about getting results and that, was it? It was just about learning trades. I mean, my dad, right, he can, like, put windows in his house,
Yeah.
do plumbing.
He should. It's dark, isn't it? He's done that first of all. Right.
So he can do what? He's got a multitude of different
Yeah,
jobs.
he can do all sorts, do you know what I mean? If there's a problem in my flat, I can call him up and say, you know, this isn't working, what should I do? And he'll say, like...
Is that an brain surgeon?
He'll say, oh, fix it.
Sure. So what about Monsters Inc? What did you make of it?
It's alright. It is a kid's film. It sort of annoyed
Is
me.
it?
Okay.
I was having, like...
what gave that away? Do you think? Was it the songs? Was it the animation?
Yeah, the fluffy little things that squiggled round on the screen for an hour and a half.
It is annoying because, like, there's kids everywhere, and kids don't watch films, do they?
No.
You know what I mean? They're messing
I don't know why
around.
they make kids films.
And you
To
can't-
be honest, it's mental.
Can't concentrate properly when you've got kids, you know,
Screaming,
making
shouting.
noise around you and that.
Yeah.
So I'd say, my little review, wait until it comes out on DVD.
Okay.
What a great review that would be! Wouldn't that be great? Film 2002.
Yeah.
Jonathan Ross going, well, I don't want to give it away. Wait till it comes out on DVD. Oh.
I can do film stuff. I can talk about films. Elephant Man. Love that.
Go on then, do a film review, quickly.
Right, well today on film review we're doing classic films, and today we're looking at Elephant Man, John Merrick, one of his better pieces of work. It's a sad film. I've never really been able to watch it all the way through.
Sorry, John Merrick's better piece of work was him being the Elephant Man, played by John Hurt.
Yeah.
Go on then.
Sad film. When I was younger.
Tell us a bit about it. What is it about? Who's
It's
John
about a
Merrick?
fella. It's about
Yeah,
a fella who's got a
but
funny head.
Right, tell us this.
And, you know, he lives in, I think he lives in London, in like about the 1930s or something like that. And he's being picked on all the time and stuff. And, first time you watch it, you'll probably cry a bit. And then the second time you watch it, you're just sort of thinking, God, that would be bad. Sort of having a head like that being picked on all the time. Then the third time you watch it, you might think, you know, oh, how does he get his jumper on? Then, don't know, probably bored of it fourth time. but it's well worth watching, so, Elephant Man,
Brilliant.
yeah, see it.
Brilliant.
I think if you want to get on TV, Carl, you'd be better as the subject of maybe like an omnibus documentary, Living with Carl, or maybe one of those appeals in Comic Relief.
We got people to send in a little thing for you last week, didn't we? The film Freaks.
Little Freaks.
You got a few sent in. You watched it, did you?
Yeah.
Now, I should just point out that the film Freaks, for those that don't know, was a movie that was released, I think, in the... Well, actually, it was originally made in about 1932, something like that, and then it was
Banned for
delayed.
about
It was
50
banned
years.
for many, many years, because it did, in actual fact, feature, for want of a better phrase, real-life freaks.
Yeah.
Bearded ladies being one of the more kind of familiar
There's
ones.
a guy without
there's
arms and
the guy without
legs.
arms, there's all sorts. And it was actually it's quite a tender film, isn't it? And actually portrays them as a kind of dysfunctional family. It's not exploitative in that sense. But what do you make of it, Carl?
Well, you were watching it for the Freaks, weren't you?
Yeah. I mean, I wish... It does take a while to get onto it.
What do you mean?
Well, straight away I was disappointed, right? Because at the start, like, you put it in, it's like, oh, brilliant. Here we go, you know. I said to Suzanne, we'll watch this, we'll have a good night.
Yeah. Have a romantic night.
That's it, her birthday. You've got your gloves, now we're going to watch some Freaks.
So, put it on, and it starts off, and it's like, you know, the following film, you think, oh, it's like following films rated 15, which means, you know, might contain scenes of violence, bad language, and sex.
Yeah.
Mention nothing about pinheads.
Right.
So I thought they missed a trick there.
Yeah.
to be honest, right? So I thought, well, let's carry on watching it.
And what exactly is a pinhead?
Oh, if you've seen it, you know.
Okay.
Right, so not the best thing in it either. So imagine that.
Okay, so you're watching it.
So, sat there, I think, right, something comes on, and the little fella's on there, the little fella we were talking about, the Pillow Man.
Right.
Is he the best thing in it?
Now, what's the Pillow Man again?
He's a fella who, years ago, he's got no arms and legs.
Right. He's
And
just a torso.
Just
and a
rolls,
head.
yeah. And there's a scene where you see him sort of rolling a cigarette up, just using his mouth, and it's like, he lights it and stuff. And that's weird. And then, what else is on it?
Smoking stench of growth.
And then there's a little fella on it who is fed up because he looks 5, but he's actually 34.
Right.
Right? But there's a woman who is 42 and looked 8. So they both had the opposite thing. They were both really fed up. And I kind of thought that shows that, you know, you always want what someone else has got.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in a way there's a story there in that.
No, you described the same there.
No, it was like...
No, they both. You just said they both looked young, but they are actually both older.
No. This was like a little man
Yeah, who was
looked-
35
who was 35.
and looked 8,
Yeah.
and so did she.
No, well, the other way round then.
What? So she was an 8-year-old that looked 35?
Yeah. Oh, maybe not then.
Anyway.
No.
But that wasn't that weird. I kind of thought it's a slow start and that.
Yeah.
And then...
It's not a difficult film to follow.
No.
yeah, but I wasn't really listening to what it's all about. I was just looking at what they had. And they had like a fella who's running about on
What
just...
they had like he was shopping.
You know, they had a fella with no legs and he's running about on his hands. And sort of got about on a skateboard, talking to someone about it. They said that's how E.T. was done. There's actually a little fella in E.T.
Right.
who's just half of, sort of half a body.
Is that true?
I've no idea. I've never heard that
Why
before.
haven't we heard that before?
I've never heard that before.
I don't think he would fit in E.T. Because he's
I
got
think-
no. Because where's the head? He's got no neck. E.T. It's a skinny little thing. There's no human neck couldn't fit in that skinny little neck.
Wow.
Well,
You sure it wasn't Kenny Baker up to his old tricks?
what are you talking about, Carl? There's a fella with no legs in E.T.
In E.T. they had two fellas, right? I think they had a little, a midget fella.
Right.
Who did it, and then I think he was off sick, and they were like, oh, you know, what else are we gonna do?
So they saw a guy on a skateboard going by.
And said, do you fancy some work?
Right.
And he's done it. I think someone told me, I mean, it might be wrong.
Exactly.
Might be wrong.
He
but-
might be, mightn't he? I mean, you've never been wrong before, so I don't know why you'd be wrong there. So
else
what's the
was it?
worst thing in it?
Now, it's intriguing to me because here's a film called Freaks, featuring real-life freaks, and you're sort of a bit nonplussed by it.
Just because it wasn't, because it's built up. If you call a video Freaks, you've got to make sure that there's some good stuff on there.
Yeah.
What were you disappointed about? Was it that?
Because there was a few things on it, right? There was a woman who said she was half man, half woman, and it's like, well, you're not, are you? It was just like she had some makeup on. I thought, well, that's rubbish. And then there was a woman who could eat using her feet. That isn't that freaky. Do you know what I mean? If she's not hungry, she looks normal.
Yeah.
And that's when I was thinking. I mean, I'm not being right, Steve. You know, I'm not being funny.
Oh, here we go.
No. But I'm just saying. If that woman wasn't eating and you were sat next to her in that film,
Yeah.
I'd probably be sort of drawn to you more than her. I'm not. I know you hate me saying it, but there's no point sort of pretending. Do you know what I mean?
Oi, Muttley, what are you sniggering about?
Face. What you mean there were things in it that were less? What are you saying?
I'm just saying.
Play a record. Seriously, I'll slap you. I'm going to slap you live on air.
Yeah, but you always get.
Right, I'm slapping you live on air.
Wow. So Freaks then. All in all, not as amazing as you first hoped.
It was built up too much. Do you know what I mean?
Really?
It's like
Is
some films.
that my fault for getting you excited? I just can't
Probably.
believe it. I hand you this thing on a plate. So
I know, but-
you know.
And I'm not being out of order, Steve. I'm
Sure.
just being honest. We've
Sure.
always said that about this show. We
Yeah,
only talk
yeah.
about stuff, you know,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you know, being honest and that.
Yeah, no, sure.
And I've always said the first time I saw you.
Sure, no, you've always been honest,
Do you
and
know what
I've
I
always
mean?
been
I've
honest with you. I've always said that, you know, you've got the intelligence and insight of a gnat.
Yeah, but if I keep quiet, people don't know that.
Sure.
All right, there you go.
Incredibly, they do, Carl, because you look stupid as well.
Well, you know.
Yeah.
No, but Carl was being nice then. You don't.
I'm just saying, you're a good bloke, and now I've got to know you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first time was weird when I saw you.
Yeah.
No,
And
leave
then-
it. Don't just interrupt. Just let it.
No, I'm just saying.
Okay.
The first time it was weird, and then weeks go by.
And you- okay.
And the weird thing is, I kind of thought maybe he's not that odd looking.
Yeah.
Right? And then you went to LA for 3 weeks.
Sure.
And when you came back, it was like the first time again.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
No, I just.
Okay. Wait. No. Stop it now.
Yeah.
Right, everyone,
but-
stop it now.
No, but I just think I'm a little bit more consistent because I've always thought you were an idiot.
I don't want this. Don't argue. He was just okay.
No, I just, you know what I mean? My opinion has never changed. I've always thought you're an idiot.
No, it's
that's
just
been
all
through
nice. Let's look. Peace.
Shut
not
up,
war.
fatso.
Peace, not war.
He's just such a stirrer, isn't he? He loves it. Don't think I didn't see you whispering behind the microphone about what to say to Carl.
Look what I've just drawn, Carl, subconsciously.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I drew a picture of him. It's not going to be on the website.
It's not been on the website.
No, it's going to be. I drew a little cartoon of him. No, not yours. I drew one of Carl. Right. Okay. What were we talking about? That was a.
So yeah, no, the
touchy
Freaks thing,
moment.
it's over and done with. It was alright if you want to get it out on video.
Sure.
You know, it's probably worth a look. There's a couple of things on there that get you thinking more, you know, it's like how their life is and stuff, do you know what I mean? How it's affected, and like the little pillow man, or the fella who's got half of his body missing.
Yeah.
You know, it's stuff like that you think, oh.
But what's the one that was disappointing? You said it was a half man, half woman.
Yeah, I don't quite understand that one.
Do you mean hermaphrodite or half? I can't remember it. Do you mean it was one sort of like it had bits of both?
It was just like half a face done in makeup and long hair, then on the other side it had it shaved.
I love the idea that you go to this circus and there's people in there that have been sort of persecuted all their life, and they think, well, maybe I can make some money, and then you boo them because they're not freakish enough. I love the idea they go, boo, you're not freakish enough, boo. Oh, you've got bits of legs, boo. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He said, that Ollie's record, he and Evie's my brother, what's that about then? And I went, I don't know, I heard, it was about someone who had a disabled brother, and, he was lifting him in and out of a car or something, and someone said, oh, do you want a hand? And he went, no, yeah, it's not heavy, he's my brother. I.e., this isn't a burden for me.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Carl, what did you say?
I'd say...
No, I'll tell you what he said. He went, well, that's ridiculous, he was still heavy. And he said, don't turn down help.
Which, we were talking about that, because a new feature we're starting about this time every week.
Oh yeah.
We start about this time every week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do, that song's got a good story.
Okay.
Yeah, love it, snappy. Go on, go on.
And, there's loads of songs out there, isn't there, with songs that you couldn't fade out. When you hear them on the radio and that, you don't want anyone to talk over the start or the end.
Yeah,
because
but remember we did this one before with Killing a Georgie by Rod Stewart.
Yeah.
And I was a bit worried that it might have been a true story because we were, you know, joking about it. And he went, "Oh, you know that Killing a Georgie?" He went, "I think it is a true story." I went, "Why?" He went, "I listened to it again, and Rod Stewart at the beginning says this is one of my best friends." So. It's brilliant, isn't it? It's genius.
So there's loads of songs out there, and what I want to do, we want to get the audience involved in this, so if you've got like a favourite song that's got a really good
If you've got an
story,
audience. Yeah, go on.
and they email in ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk, and they say what the song is now.
What would examples be then?
Examples, ones that jump to mind straight away for me, Elvis, In the Ghetto.
Yeah, good one.
Brilliant.
Andrew Gold, Lonely Boy.
Absolutely.
Don't know that one.
Eminem, Stan.
Right, yeah. Good one. You couldn't fade it out, could you? Because you go, well, what happened?
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely.
And that's what I'm saying. Not just any sort of pop song that keeps repeating itself, and you know, it's like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it skips or you know what I mean. If you turn the radio off.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about
Ernie,
songs.
the fastest milk in the world.
Yeah, that is a good story. That is a good story. Oh.
Yeah.
Do you know that one?
Yeah. That's, well, it's a story. Yeah.
Ted from Teddington, he drove the baker's van.
Well,
So what have we got then? Have we got one?
so we're going to kick it off today with Stevie Wonder, "Living Just Enough for the City."
Okay.
And just briefly.
Sum it up. Right,
Yeah.
if you are nipping out, maybe you're in the car and you're about to pull up somewhere and get out, what it's all about is a lad who's growing up in, like, America in some rough area, right? And he's trying his best to do well and get a job and everything, but because of where he's from, it's stopping him doing that, right? It's like how I grew up on an estate in Manchester. I had to leave there and come to London to do alright for myself,
Yeah.
right? And it's his whole family, and it's a tale of, like, how his man works dead hard and works loads of hours, but the kids are always well dressed and cleaned. It doesn't mean just because you haven't got a good job, you let your house run down. Do you know what I mean? She's looking after it. The sister, you know, she hasn't got new clothes, but they're always clean, and her knees are clean, I think it says in one point.
Excellent. Clean knees, always important.
So will we give it a listen? Let everyone
Brilliant,
hear
it's
it?
a
Well, I
great
don't
track.
think Stevie can do it justice. After that explanation.
Right, so
I'm not sure he's
I
going to
hope he
top
uses
that.
like some sort of like backing tune to try and.
Try and pep it up a bit, because
Yeah.
you have really knocked it to the socks off
so-
it.
Brilliant. I'm looking forward to the
right, here
clean
we go
knees.
then. It's a new feature.
What is it called again?
The story in that song's really good. Here's Stevie Wonder. Like songs with good stories that you can't fade out.
Although you can heavily edit them for
Yeah, I
them.
noticed you didn't play the full version, which has
No, it's
obviously
radio.
got the complete story in. You've just played a
I haven't heard the other. That's
single
all I
version.
know.
Well, in the album version,
He gets
goes to jail.
abducted. He gets abducted as well, and he comes back with a big beard.
Yeah, and he's
No.
covered in hair. No,
No.
he gets arrested and goes to jail. But it's just, you know, it's just because he gets picked up because he's black and he hasn't done anything wrong. There's a whole
never heard
other
that
sort
one.
of section.
Maybe we should change this section.
No, what we'll do, right?
Abridged versions of songs.
Yeah.
No, next week we'll play the second bit, and it'll be like Star Wars or something like that.
Go on.
Remember last week we
Yeah.
started a new feature
Yeah.
called "That Song's Got a Good Story in It." And
Brilliant. I love your catchy titles. They're excellent.
Right, and the idea was it was a story in
Yeah.
a song, which meant that if it was played on the radio, you couldn't just, like, fade it out, because you've got to have the full story.
Yeah.
Right, well, last week we started the feature with Stevie Wonder, "Living for the City,"
Yeah.
right?
But you played the version where it fades out.
Yeah, I didn't know there was more to it, so Steve told me what album it was on.
Yeah.
I've gone and got it. We've got the second half to that story
Yeah.
this week.
Yeah.
So, you've got half the story. What was it? What had happened is, like, the lad's living in Mississippi, there's not much going on there.
Mississippi. That's someone off Rainbow's mum. Living, what, Mississippi?
Yeah. His dad's, his man was a cleaner,
Yeah.
trying to get by. They didn't have a great life, but they still looked after the kids and stuff. There's more to it than that.
Have you got it ready?
There's more to it than
I'm not
that!
ready.
I should hope so!
We'll probably do it at about 12:30.
So look forward
Okay.
to that, the second half
got
of
that.
Stevie Wonder's Living for the City, a week later. I love a show that's carefully planned. So listen, no, I watched the tomato
This isn't a
thing.
show. This isn't a show. This isn't a radio show. This is.
I don't know what this is.
No, I don't know what it is. we just might as well start banging tambourines and it's ridiculous. This is rubbish, right? But wait, like, some people emailed in, put him in a wheelie bin, went to Blackpool, right? Some people emailed in the stories, songs with stories in it. One of them was Babushka, and he went, "What's that?" And I went, "Ask Katie Bush." "What is it?" I said, "Oh, it's about a woman who dresses up as another woman and seduces her husband." He went, "They wouldn't work." Just dismissed it like that. Why do you think it would work?
Because you'd know. I mean, say like, right, Suzanne, right, who I
Yeah.
go out with,
Yeah.
right? She can see me from, say, if I'm coming down the high street,
Yeah.
she knows it's me by the way I walk.
Right.
So, just the fact that this woman went and put a wig on, there is no...
You haven't even heard the song!
I know, but you're saying that she put a disguise on and he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I fancy her," and he takes her out, and he doesn't know it's his missus. It's just...
You're not buying it.
I mean, I'm controlling this
Whereas
feature.
the flea with your brain going to Glasgow, perfect sense.
So last week, yeah, you were playing your feature, that song I shouldn't switch off because I'm enjoying the story.
Yeah.
And we played Living for the City, only you played the single mix, which doesn't have the entire second act, if you will. So, Carl, you've not heard it before.
I've
You're
never heard
excited.
it before.
You're excited to hear the second act, because as far as you're aware, there was a young guy, he's living with his family, they're fairly impoverished in Mississippi, but, you know, they're happy, they're getting on alright. But you're not even aware that he's moving to the big city.
No, it just fades out.
Well,
And
that's the city in question.
I mean, I've liked this song for, must be, 3 or 4 years, and I've always listened to the single version. I had no idea that I didn't know the full story. So,
Yeah. It's not, I mean, and I know your attention to detail, you like to know the full story, like, where everything was.
well, the whole idea of the feature is to say,
Yeah.
you've got to listen to
Where
the
was the
song.
lead plate thing? Where was the lead plate thing? Where was the lead plate thing?
That was like a few years
Where?
back in,
Where was it? Where was
in
it?
Britain and Scotland.
Yeah.
It was a problem all over the world. They had to deal with it.
You're making it up now.
Is it
So-
something you saw in Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
Right. So anyway,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Lion and the Witch, yeah? Go on.
Go on.
so far then, what did we learn in this story from
We learned
Stevie
so
Wonder?
far from Stevie that there's a young lad, he's, as I say, he's got a family, he's fairly happy, except they're very poor, and they struggle to get by, but they're happy they're doing it anyway. He's moving to the big city. Carl, this is the bit you didn't realise. Just play the track.
Okay, here we go. So this is halfway through.
This is
now,
halfway
yeah?
through the tune now. This is, you've not heard this before, have you?
Let's
okay.
Sorry, I accidentally played an episode of Kojak. By mistake. We were going to play a song.
Carl, what did you make of that then?
Yeah, what's happening there then?
Eh? He was living with his family, he was fairly impoverished.
He went
He's
on a
moved
bus.
to
Was
the
that a
new...
bus he was on, was it?
Right. So
So what's your take on it, Carl?
After hearing that, what I've worked out by it, the first part that we heard last week, everything's all right, but it's not that great living in Mississippi, right? So he goes, "Oh, I'm going to go to New York. There's plenty of work there.
Yeah.
They'll sort of accept me as and everything." So he goes there, and the weird thing is, he's hardly been in New York for a second. He gets on a bus. All of a sudden, some cop is arresting him. He's like, "What's going on?" And then he's got 10 years. I mean, what you can't hear, because the levels are quite bad. I mean, I work with sound. I can't really hear what's going on.
You're criticising
I'm
Stevie
sort
Wonder
of
now.
guessing that he didn't pay his bus fare or something. And,
10 years.
He got 10 years for that.
I really don't know what was going on.
Right. But you're not happy, because obviously it's quite
Do you think Stevie Wonder left out some vital ingredients in the story, in your education? Like where it was, or... At least he got where it was. You can tell what year it is. It's, right in the mid-70s there, that funky New York 70s sound.
Alright.
Yeah.
You're pretty disappointed, aren't you? You're pretty worried, because...
So what went on?
Yeah.
What
You know,
happened?
well, you're aware, Carl, because that shows quite a bad image of New York. It's quite an intolerant city, by all accounts. They arrested a guy,
But it is quite
seemingly
bad,
for
'cause
being black.
That's one song where you shouldn't go to New York. Killing a Georgie Rod Stewart. That lad, he was doing alright in Scotland and said, "I'm going to go to the big city." He got done in.
Yeah.
Seems to me it's that you don't go there if you've got problems. Don't think New York's the answer.
Right.
Oh, hold on, yeah. So what you're saying, that if you're a bit fed up with your life, but you live with your mum and she's like really nice and you got friends and life's not that bad,
Yeah.
don't go and be murdered, or what? What are you saying? Don't go and be murdered.
Well,
Don't go and...
leave
What? Go on.
Leave home, but don't go to New York.
Right.
There's other places.
Where would you go? Sheffield?
Don't know, but
Yeah.
But
So-
you're a little mank lad, weren't you? You're in your garden. We had your train set. Your brother blew up. There was a horse next door, and you thought, "Oh, I want to go to London." So, do you know what I mean? You're like that.
yeah, but
You're
first of all-
in many ways like the fella
Yeah,
in
but
that
fir-
song, and like Georgie.
no, because
In many ways, you are a bit like Georgie, aren't you?
I had a car, so
No, are you a little bit like Georgie in many
no,
ways?
I didn't get on a bus. I had a car, so I wasn't going to have the problem he had for a start.
Right.
But I mean, I suppose there's loads of things you can look at that story and take out of it. That's what I like about the feature, right? Keep him hooked, right?
Yeah.
We've still got a song with a story in it.
Yeah. You don't want to play Babushka, do you? He doesn't like the idea of Babushka. I told him that was a story.
Yeah.
And, he doesn't like it. Devil went down to Georgia. Someone sent in. You know, he's looking for a soul to steal.
Yeah.
Doesn't like it. Won't you like that?
Do you know the song?
Not particularly.
Right, it's a song about a lad who goes into a pub on a normal night, and there's-
it's in, sort of the deep south of America,
Yeah.
New Orleans, something like that. It's, you know, it's not the old Kent Road.
Right, okay.
Okay,
he
go on.
goes into a pub. There's a devil in there who's getting a bit cocky. He's had a bit to drink, and he's saying, "Do you want to sort of gamble your soul away with me, and we'll see who's best at playing the violin?"
Yeah.
And I think the lad wins in the end, but it's not real enough. Whereas the one.
Oh! What? Not like the Shadow that got fed up and started pushing kids off bikes?
Rick, I think you're
In
referring
Boston.
to stuff that no one made sense of last week.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think we
Right,
should
okay,
refer to
okay,
last
let's-
week.
let's-
We're on to another feature.
Oh, what is this?
This one is.
Rick, were you not at the planning meeting?
What is this? Go on.
This is, that song's got a good story in it.
Oh, is this that? Oh, God.
So tell us the rules.
Right, the rule is that it's songs that we play on the show every week, and there's a lot of music out that they just keep saying the same
Oh,
thing
just,
over and over.
what is it? What's the
It's a
song with the story this
with
week?
A good story.
What's the song with the story this week? Just say it.
It's Gene Pitney, 24 Hours from Tulsa.
Oh, I'm really sorry about this. If you're an XFM listener, we gotta listen to this. Go on.
Well, do you know what it's about?
Yeah, isn't he trying to get back to his girlfriend?
Yeah, he's been working away. Lives in Tulsa.